Good to be back, Brett. The details.
It is.
Chiefs.
It is good to be back, man.
We're going to talk today about Rashee Rice, how the Chiefs opened him up against the Ravens in this 27-20 victory. And I know 3 clips you're excited to show. We're going to do a little illustration and show folks at home kind of how the Chiefs were able to do this.
Yeah, he obviously had a great game, and they really moved him around formationally, protected his releases with motion and really got him some favorable matchups, particularly in the middle of the field.
All right, let's start with this one and talk us through this one. It's kind of the option route or the whip route and what you see from Rashee Rice here.
Yeah, so this is obviously an empty formation. Baltimore is going to play a Tampa 2 coverage here. Really, it's kind of a 3 safety look. They're going to Kyle Hamilton down here is going to be able to snap play like a 3 safety cover 2 look, and it's going to isolate Rashee Rice on Roquan Smith, who they had that matchup a couple times. We'll see another one.
Yeah, absolutely. I did want to give you some trivia here. This is sort of interesting from the Chiefs. Did you notice the formation on this one, Brett?
The formation.
I'm sorry, the personnel on this one.
I'm going to say. Is that
Checo here?
Okay. Oh, it's 2 running backs.
2 running backs. I looked it up last year. Guess how many times the Chiefs ran 21 personnel? 21 is the running back, and 1 is the tight end. How many times last year did they run 21 personnel? You want to take a guess?
I'm going to say 0.
1. One time it was with Kadarius Toney threw a pass out of that formation. So a rare thing for the Chiefs to do this, but again, kind of opening up with matchups. And what happens when you have big personnel on the field? You get linebackers on the field you can potentially take advantage of. This is where Kadarius Toney wins with this option route.
Yeah, that's a good eye there. Yeah, obviously this matchup here, Rashee Rice on Roquan Smith, they'll take every time. So the number 1 receiver is just going to run simple now screens. That's why you could do that with running backs. It's not a complicated route. They're just taking a couple steps forward, turning back, and then your slot fades are by your number 2 receivers right there. And obviously versus this coverage, your slot fades are no good. Now, if you get press man coverage, there's no better vertical route beater than a slot fade versus press man, but you could see all the space there, the move, pushing vertical, shaking outside, then winning that space to the inside.
Definitely got it there, and this obviously opens up lots of different terminology for it, right, Brett? The whip route, it's the option route because he can go either way, but it ends up being what they call a jerk route sometimes.
Jerk route, yeah, option or jerk. A whip usually works back towards the sideline, kind of just terminology, universal if there is such a thing. But yeah, jerk route, whip route.
Sounds good. And so obviously opening himself on this play. I do want you guys to watch here Xavier Worthy as he runs down the field. Kind of just puts his head down, gets a good clear out. But it's going to be interesting based off what we see on this next play because, Brett, as you pointed out, this sure looks on this other side a lot like that previous play that went to Rashee Rice.
It does. The coverage kind of takes it away. So it's hard to see for sure, but it kind of looks like Kelsey's going to run this, option jerk route here. And then number 1, possibly running a now screen. And then as we'll see what happens with Rashee Rice. Now it's different to the bottom of the screen. It's not an empty formation. They're going to run a scat concept. They're going to send the running back on I think that's P. Ryan on a swing or a wide route. And then a scat route by the number 1 receiver down here. But yes, to the field, it's got a similar look. Hard to know for sure.
And again, so potentially going to Kelsey, the Chiefs looking for somewhere in there for him to open up. But watch what Rashee Rice does here, and how he gets himself open on this play. We see Patrick Mahomes kind of pat the ball like he wants to go to Kelsey, but it ends up going somewhere else.
So different coverage here. Baltimore's going to, show a too high look and then bring that safety down in a robber or a cover 1 cross where they're looking to take away crossers, whatever. But they're going to, this Mike linebacker and the safety coming down are basically going to bracket Kelsey on this option route. Could be a slant, and it doesn't matter. But one thing I think that's notable about this is, we hear so much about understanding the system and being on the same page with the quarterback and making adjustments based off the coverage and the space available. And I think we see that here with Rice, whether he's running that slot fade we saw last time and the nickel just gives outside leverage, so he decides to come in, or he's running a slant. Doesn't really matter here. I think what's important, the big takeaway is he understands where the space is. He sees that safety coming down and understands there's going to be big space in the middle of the field.
Yeah, we see this big space come open right in here for Rashee Rice, and we see Patrick Mahomes tap the ball once, and all of a sudden he sees Rashee Rice open and makes a huge play out of it. Could be one of those chemistry things again for Rashee Rice. Reading coverages, being on the same page as the quarterback results in a big play.
Well, they're definitely on the same page there.
All right, and one final one for Rashee Rice, how the Chiefs open him up. You talked about motion earlier and helping out your receivers. How did Andy Reid do it on this particular play?
So they got Bunch here. He's at number 3 there to start, and they're going to motion him all the way back out to number 1. And what that does is it gives him basically, it protects his release. He's going to have both Watson and I believe that's Worthy there, basically running vertical stemmed routes. That's going to, they're going to carry that nickel, and it's going to allow him to basically get a free release towards the middle of the field there.
We talked so much about a free release, and Brett, you're just talking about making sure these guys right here cannot get their hands on the receivers. That's going to be a big deal with Xavier Worthy because of how small he is down here. We've seen, sometimes with press coverage, it's tougher for him to get out. But for here, it's clearing out for Rashee Rice and able to get him out and running without any impediments, I guess, in his way.
Mm-hmm. And as always, it's not only protecting the receiver's release, it's giving the quarterback a little bit of intel pre-snap, possibly what's going on coverage-wise.
All right, so the one guy we're going to look at from the Ravens is a high-low defender here, right?
Yep. There you go, Roquan Smith. They're going to show him up on the line of scrimmage. Like he's going to mug or blitz, and then they're going to drop him. And you see right there, you got him circled perfectly. Mahomes knows, based on the hip angle of his drop right there, he's got that shallow cross from Rice coming across, that he is not going to be able to cover that based on the direction of his hips.
Yeah, his hips are going this way. And again, that's partly because Xavier Worthy is running this way. And so we talk so much about this high-low here, high-low in a defender. That's sort of what the Chiefs are doing right here. But once his hips, as you mentioned, are turned this way, Patrick Mahomes is going to see that, and he knows that his read is going to be to Rashee Rice here over the middle.
Mm-hmm. So they've got Roquan Smith high-low, and then on the other side of that concept, Kelsey's going to run that out and up. He's going to clear the corner, and then Pacheco's going to clear out the will linebacker there. And once they've got Smith in conflict there and they make the right read, you have big run after the catch opportunity there because that area of the field's cleared.
So we talk so much about the Chiefs scheming things up and scheming open space. This is space for Rashee Rice, and obviously once Mahomes makes the right read here, there's all that space for him to work, and we know how good he is after the catch, getting these yards after the catch. And as you talked about, kind of picking on Roquan Smith, who felt like he was getting picked on by the Chiefs too. All right, the main takeaways here, Brett, from what the Chiefs did with Rashee Rice, and obviously a huge game for him. Is this something we can see moving forward with the Chiefs and what they're able to do with him in this particular game?
Yeah, he's just so reliable in terms of what they can do with him formationally and work in the middle of the field, getting him matched up on linebackers. He's got such a big catch radius. He's got strong hands, and he's able to make things happen after the catch. So, he's definitely a problem for defenses, and I think he's going to have a huge year.
I'm going to agree
based off what we saw the other night.
Absolutely, and the strength he shows, the physicality, working that middle of the field and having Xavier Worthy on the side to clear some stuff out could be a huge year coming up for Rashee Rice. It's going to wrap it up for the details. For Brett, this is Jesse. Be sure to tune in for another episode next week.